Hi guys, I'm Aussie and welcome to the summer transfer special as we head from Season 6 of The Impossible Dream into Season 7 as we look to win the Champions League with the Welsh team Bala Town. And, well, today basically, summer transfer special, it's all in the title, isn't it? We're going to play through till the beginning of the new season. We'll have a look at who we get in the first round of the Champions League qualifying. We might even play the first round off camera and have a look at the highlights depending on who we get. But we start with money spent. We have had the money come out for upgrades to the training facilities, both senior and youth facilities. So 3.7 million. Now, if we have a look at the finances, I don't actually think we've had our updated budget as of yet, because I don't think we're going to have just under 10 million to spend when we have just over 5 million in the bank, or 5.75 million anyway. So last season was an expensive one. We've made a loss, basically a little bit more than what we made the season before, but we have spent 1.8 million updating data analysis facilities, as we saw last episode, and obviously, as you've just seen, 3.7 on the youth facilities. So we've invested, most of the money there has come into, been invested by the club, into the club, and obviously not getting into that Champions League group stage meant we did lose, obviously, a little bit of money, but we've kind of, more or less, I'd say, over the rest of the season, broke even. Not quite, but certainly an acceptable loss at this point in any case. So, summer transfer special means we're going to try and improve the squad, obviously. We've got a lot of players leaving when their contracts expire, which will be May 5th in game. So it'll be happening in just over a month's time, or 2 months' time almost. So you can see here, Nichols, Grosset, Tomlinson, Radcliffe, Evans, James, Derbyshire. We've got the loan guys who will, for the most part, try and get back, but a lot of players that are leaving. We will probably try and sell on a couple of others. Make sure that this wage budget isn't getting too out of control. We do have a big squad as it is. A lot of these guys that have been called up, they're sort of youth players that we're trying to give a chance to. But what I really want to do this summer, as much as anything else, is just try and compact down the squad. So we have sort of a core of maybe 18 or so players that are sort of our European squad, and then fill in the gaps with the youth players coming through the academy, because our academy is developing some good players for us. Will that happen? Time will tell. I'll be back when we've got some transfer news. Okay, quick update. We have now got our budget set, and they haven't changed, which is, to be honest, quite worrying. We've got almost 10 million to spend, and we've got almost half of that in the bank, which is, as I said, a little bit concerning that the board's throwing around money like that. And the wage budget has essentially stayed the same. So we are committed to spending 40 grand next season. So we can almost double that. Again, I want to be a little bit responsible with it. What we don't want to do is bankrupt the club. We're trying to build a team here, obviously, not sort of go all in and do a sort of a Leeds United, to quote my other save, where you kind of don't make it and then crash out. So I do want to be a little bit cautious, but we do have money to spend. And if you're wondering how the other leagues have ended up, the North Kimmeru, I know, it's one of these things, I know how it's said, I cannot say it though. When I hear it, I'm like, yes, I knew that. But anyway, Ruthen, who is a affiliate club of ours, they have been promoted and they won the league in an absolute canter. So it'll be interesting to see how they do next year. And I'm hoping, because they are currently an amateur team. Where is it here? Somewhere here, amateur. It says, so they're a semi-pro team. They've already gone semi-pro. So I'm hoping, they have gone semi-pro. So we might be able to loan out a few of our youngsters to them. And if they're playing in the Premier League and they also are semi-pro, that could be useful for, as I said, for some of our youngsters. So that's the North. And in the South, it is Clonelly, isn't it? Town that come back up again. Uncompetitive title race, one that had an absolute canter. So we've got two dominant champions coming up into the Premier League next season. Be interesting to see how they do. Hello, Leeds United. Hey, mates, Aussie Villain. Good, thanks, good. Listen, the reason that I'm calling is I'd like to extend Declan Wright's loan for another season, please. Yeah, he has. He's done really, really well for us. I think he's developing as well, which is good for you guys. What do you mean, no? Oh, so basically he's done too well, and now you want him back. Great. Alright, we have some end-of-season awards in Wales, but as you've just seen, I was trying to extend the loans. Basically, Declan Wright isn't coming back. Leeds want to give him a chance in their first team. The two Celtic players, McLean and Murray, we can only do 8-month loans extensions for now. I'll wait and see if we can do a whole season, but we think we can get them back. I'm just going to, as I said, wait and see if we can get him for the full season, or get them both for the full season. Player of the Year went to Marcus Wade of Cardiff Met Uni. I have given him a scout previously. He was on my radar, but he's not really good enough. Potentially he could be a 4-star player, but we've learnt before, I think, unless they're sort of really good enough for the first team already, they're not going to develop with us, and I don't think he's ever going to develop with us. But he was Player of the Year, so well done to him. If we look at Rookie of the Year, it was Paul McVeigh. So well done to him. Our Northern Irish midfielder had a really decent season, I thought, did old McVeigh. And hopefully he will continue on in that development for next season. I'm a little bit concerned about his technical side of things, but I think he has the basic attributes to be a midfielder, or a passing midfielder anyway. So we'll kind of see how he goes. I win Manager of the Year. Hooray for me. I mean, it's the Aussie Villain Award at this point, isn't it? Manager of the Year, but that's fine. It is what it is. And Team of the Season, again, I think because we do rotate a lot, we've only got 3 players in Team of the Year, but I couldn't be happier for the guys that are there. Rima Miles, a young goalkeeper. KDH, his first full season in the first team. He's only going to make the Wales Team of the Year, which is absolutely brilliant for him. And like I say, he is developing like an absolute house on fire right now, which is brilliant. And Curtis Owen, another one of the youngsters that's come through the academy. Again, potentially we've got a 4-star player there, which is absolutely brilliant. We need to improve his passing a little bit. I wish you could just set this permanently, but anyway. So we'll do that, and hopefully he will develop there. But yeah, I was going to show you his first full season? No, it's his second full season. First full season, really. Last season he was more of a benchy. But yeah, did really, really well. So well done to those guys, and they've been paid handsomely for those achievements as well. All right, back to the transfer window. Okay, it is commercial summary time again. No shirts. It's really disappointing when it does that. But anyway, we mustn't be selling enough for it to register. We only sold 2.2 grand worth. £220 worth of non-domestic sales. Maybe we have some non-domestic players. So you think friends and family, it's a little bit more money than that. But anyway, we do have some new sponsors. 3 new deals at 160 grand a year. We have a back of the shirt sponsor now, a 1-year deal for 120 grand. Our general sponsorship has gone up about 220, about $250,000, which is nice. We'll take that. Corporate hospitality was down last season. Match day and commercial retail was down, which is a little bit disappointing, but we weren't in the Champions League last year. It happens. Broadcast revenues, again, were down. To be honest, that just about cancels out the sponsorship, doesn't it? And again, competition prize money, when you're not in the Champions League, £10 million less. But let's face it, if we got £6 million in prize money any other year, it would seem like an absolute godsend. But on the back of a Champions League year, obviously, it seems a little bit more disappointing. We've got our new scouting budget. I'll increase that again to make sure that we can scout the world for, where we need to. And the one thing that has happened, I've noticed post-season, is that our player values have suddenly skyrocketed to something that I would say is actually what they're worth. So you can see we have Glenn Middleton now almost worth $500,000, and at that point, it is almost worth selling now. I think if now these player values are where they should be, selling players on actually becomes a realistic proposition for us now. For example, Connor Gosney, 155 grand. He's unhappy because he thought that Gredison was coming to replace him. But if someone was to come in for him now, suddenly it's, we can get, say, $500,000, then plus a 50% sell-on clause. That starts to look like something that might be worth doing for us. I've noticed star ratings have dropped off a little bit as well. Gredison looks like a good young player, doesn't he? But anyway, yeah, that's a big bonus. For example, Jaycock, 100 grand. Not sure he's going to play for us next season. That's worth perhaps selling on. But I just thought that was interesting. The club reputation hasn't really improved. We're still a 2-star reputation, which is great. But it hasn't necessarily gone up. So I don't really know why player values have gone up, but they have. So yeah, we're at June 9th now. We're getting to the point where contracts will expire. We'll hopefully sign some players. Okay, welcome back. It is Champions League qualifying round time. Now, we have had the updated club rankings. We've moved up 8 places to 53rd, which is brilliant. You have a quick look here. I know it's a lot of numbers and it's probably difficult to see, but there we are there. We've had 5 seasons in Europe, so we have coefficient points for all 5 years. And there we go. We've got 2 coefficient points to defend this year. We should be able to manage that, I would hope. You can see previous seasons 5 and 6 when we've got into the group stages. I've not really done too much when we're there, so I'd like to think we'll get at least that much. And yeah, we're going to hopefully continue to rise up these rankings for a couple more seasons yet, and then we'll probably tap out in a season or two's time, and we'll just have to try and get into group stages where we can to try and kick things along a little bit. But let's go and have a look at this qualifying tie. I should say too, you can see here the Welsh, as we sort of discussed at the end of last season, we've gone up 2 places in the coefficient table. It's not going to mean anything. I think 17th is where you start and get extra qualifying places and miss qualifying rounds. Wales sit down here with 18.5 points, and 17th right now is Romania with 29. So, as I keep saying, until we find another Welsh team that's going to start getting into group stages with us, we will be destined to have early qualifying rounds in the Champions League. Now, let's have a look at the draw and see what we can do here. We are the top seed. Look at that, top seed in this round of qualifying. Is it? I don't even know if it matters if you see it or not, to be honest. It seems just like whoever comes out, comes out. So let's not waste any time looking at the teams. Let's just automatic draw and see who it is we get. I think we'd rather be away from home first leg, wouldn't we? Get the job done away from home, and then, or would we rather be at home, given match sharpness may be an issue, and go from there? Well, it doesn't really matter. We don't get a choice, do we? Legia Warsaw would be a tough one. We avoid them, so that is good. Albanian opposition, we take that. No, they go to Riga of Latvia. Would we take... We don't get a choice, so we don't get either of those two. We take Faroe Islands, yes please. No, they go to Estonia. Partizan, no, thank you. We do not get Partizan, which is good. Montenegrin, we take... that's fine. Dundalk, I'd rather not, but we'll take it. They get FC Ives. Karabag, we'd rather avoid them first up, and we do. Running out of teams here. Georgian team would be tricky, but we'll take it. They get Lugaret, which is another tricky one. Bate Borisov would be tricky. They get the preliminary teams. College Europa of Gibraltar. I would have taken that, but they go to Sweden. Apoel, we'd rather avoid Apoel if we could. We do. We're running out of teams here. Are we going to get the Kosovoans? Yes, we are. So we are going to Kosovo in the first qualifying round of the Champions League. Let's have a quick look at them. I suspect we will be doing this as highlights. So I'll come back for highlights of this game. We won't waste time. I'm assuming we'll win that relatively comfortably. There is, of course, the second qualifying round here as well. Let's just draw and see who we would get. Let's just draw all teams. So if we were to get past them, we would then have Georgian or more likely Ludogorets, which will be tough. So we'll definitely come back for the second round should we get past the first round. I don't want to count chickens, but I'd like to think we can get the job done there. But there we go. Back to the transfers. We have breaking news this evening coming out of Bala Town as news emerges that winger Glenn Middleton has left the club to join Heart of Midlothian. Now, for more on this story, we cross live to Charles Hogan. And Charles, this will come as a surprise to many.
Yeah, thanks, Nige. Look, Bala Town will receive a club record £700,000 for the Scottish winger, who divided opinions amongst the fans last season. He will return to Scottish football with Hearts after spells at both Burnley and Sheffield Wednesday. Now, just moments ago, manager Aussie Villain addressed the media regarding the transfer.
Yeah, look, Glenn has left the club, unfortunately. We received an initial bid from Hart, which I rejected. At that point, Middleton came into my office having a little hissy fit, kicking and screaming on the floor. Broke one of my wife's vase, so I'm going to have to pay for that later on when I get home. But, at that point, it became clear he did not have a future at the club, so that it became my job to get the best deal that we could for Bala Town. So there we go. Glenn Middleton has left us after just one season. He's off to join Hearts. £700,000. I mean, that's not too bad as far as a bid goes. But, yep, he was going to sulk if he left. And to be honest, I wasn't completely against the idea. I don't think he was that much better than Adam Maurice last season. He certainly wasn't the sort of the X factor I was hoping he would be in Europe. So he was on about £4,500 a week or thereabouts. So we get that off the bill. We get $700,000 in the bank, and we get Adam Maurice back as the first choice left winger. So I don't think it's the worst thing that could have happened. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be the last player that leaves this window, because what I completely forgot and is slightly annoying. If we go, should have organised this a bit better, shouldn't I? If we go to Branthwaite here, where are you, Branthwaite? There you are. In his contract, he has a minimum release fee of £16,000, which is absolutely ridiculous, especially now that everybody's values have gone up. He's worth 145. I'm trying to offer him a new contract. He's annoyed about something. I forget what he's annoyed about now. I think he wanted the coaches to improve, and we haven't improved them enough for him. So it may well be we're about to lose our first choice right back for basically nothing as well. So far this summer, we're weakening, not strengthening, which is not great. Okay, we have breaking news. 2 new players have joined us at Bala Town. 1 new we knew about, 1 that we didn't. Michael Swift, the central defender who we signed from Liverpool, of course. He can play down the left and right. He's right-footed, so more so down the right than down the left. But he will predominantly be a centre-back for us. Good positioning. Decent enough physically. We saw him last season, didn't we, when we signed him from Liverpool. So hopefully he will be a roaring success for us. And the other signing that we've made is a new one to you guys. Again, at the end of his contract, Milan Mullenstein. He is a left back. Hopefully, this guy is going to mean we don't have to loan back in Granger, so it frees up another. We'll have Burke and Mullenstein to play from left back. Again, decent enough physically, good determination, and resolute as well, promising fullback, so I'm hoping he'll have a future. £400 a week we're paying him, which isn't too bad. Again, positioning, teamwork, work rate, everything there is not too bad for a fullback. Drilling and crossing could use a little bit of an improvement. We got him from Arsenal. He didn't trouble their first team, but you wouldn't expect us necessarily to get someone who had for some reason gone down to the under-19s. You were the first team player, sir. And there we go. Now we have said goodbye to some players officially. I think the big one and the sad one that does hurt quite a little bit if we go down to players and stuff released. Denny Gosset has officially left Bala Town. Let's hope he picks up another club. If he doesn't, we might look to sign him back as a free agent just to try and keep him around in the game for a little bit longer. I have added him to our former favourite shortlist, so we'll be able to keep an eye on him. The other main one, I think, is Jake Nichols. He was a first-team player for a number of seasons for us, but he moves on as well. He hasn't played with us for a little while. Record transfer spend. Still the record, to be honest. William Tomlinson just never did it for us. So his 2 years is up, and he moves on, hopefully. Did we sign him from Mansfield? We did, so he may well go back to Mansfield. He didn't do too badly, to be fair, but he tended to play games against lesser opposition. Rather, when we needed him in Europe, he never really did it, so he moves on as well. And to be honest, we've got youngsters coming up that'll do just as good as he does. Oh, Dan Evans is the other one as well that's moved on. We've let go, but we've kind of agreed, I think, that we have better players. So that's that. Transfers are expired. Now we go really hard to try and get in 4 loanees and some signings ready for the Champions League registration deadline, July 7th. We have a week. Okay, we have breaking news on the eve of Champions League squad registration. We have signed midfielder Ryan Murphy from Hibs up in Scotland. You can see a 3.5 current ability, potentially a 5-star player. We're paying £75,000 for him up front, so he's a new record signing as well, potentially rising to £175,000 with 50 games and 50 goals. Unfortunately, we did get stuck with a sell-on fee, percentage of any profit. I stupidly forgot to take it off when I made the bid, so I got it down to 20%. That's not the worst thing. So we're going to be paying him $2.6 grand a week. Let's have a quick look at what we've signed here. Basically, he's the replacement for McLean, which he's transfer listed. I'm still trying to get him in as well, but we've got a sort of a ball-playing centre midfield, basically. He can also fill in out on the left, which may be needed with obviously the departure of Middleton. He could play up top quite feasibly as well, so a good sort of a utility player for us. I think he'll do a good job. Has he done previously? He has not played too much for Hibs. He hasn't played too much at all, actually, but I think he'll be a really, really good player for us, or at least I'm hoping he will be anyway. Okay, more breaking news. Another signing has arrived. We have a Dufford Thomas is, different Dufford, not that one, is a new signing. We've got him on loan from Swansea City for the year. B- the fans say. We're paying him £1,900 a week. You can see it decent enough right now, potentially a 5-star player. He's only 18 years old, but I think he's going to be quite useful playing down that right wing for us. Obviously, we don't have Declan Wright. I don't think Dufford is a Declan Wright, but I'm hoping he's not far off. Not as physically good as Declan was, but he does have a good cross. He's not the best passer. He's not going to create too many chances. I'm hoping he's not Declan Wright. We're not going to get another Declan Wright, but I'm hoping this guy will do a job for us. He broke into the Swansea team last season a little bit. So yeah, Dufford Thomas is our new possibly first choice right winger. Certainly he'll keep Callum Connolly on his toes. And you're sure this is what you want? You're sure? All right, mate. Well, I can't say no to you. So good luck. And if you need anything, and I mean anything, you call me, all right? All right, mate. We'll see you later.
I can't believe he's gone.
Well, we say goodbye to one of the heroes. Henry Jones has left the club. £6,500. He's off to Macclesfield Town in the English system. We'll add him to the oldies shortlist so we can keep track of him. But yeah, he leaves with my blessings, but with a heavy heart. He was a brilliant player for us early days. We don't need him anymore, do we? So, as one of the legends, he does get the right to leave with our love, and we will hopefully get him back one day as a coach once his playing days have come to an end. Now, unfortunately, that sale has really annoyed Reece Williams, so he's unhappy at me now, so that could have gone better. To be honest, he's probably disposable at this point as well, though I will keep him because he is still useful to us. And he has a contract for another 2 years as well, so we've got to make use of him. Speaking of players who have contracts for another few years, we have had some contract renewals here. Let's go and have a look. Rima Miles has signed a new deal, £650 a week. He's on now for the next 3 years, so that's good news. You can see he's really coming along nicely for us. Ewan Dixon, club captain, of course. Where is he down here? Ewan Dixon, he's £500 a week for another 3 years. Excellent stuff. Cheap deal, that one as well. And Adam Maurice, with the departure of Middleton, Maurice becomes a much more important player for us. So he's extended for another 3 years, £1,600 a week he's on. And we've signed 2 youngsters to extended deals as well. They being Professor McGonigal, if I can find him here. Here he is here. So he's here for another 2 years right now. We may look to loan him out this season. I'm yet to decide what I want to do with that. I don't necessarily want to loan him out to another Welsh team because he's not going to be training full-time as a professional. So I may just try and give him some games off the bench to make sure he keeps developing, because we could have a really good midfielder here if he does develop. And the other youngster that signed an extended deal is CN Peters. Yeah, I mean, he's potentially a good player for us. We will probably try and loan him out as well. The New Saints, I mean, he couldn't play against us, so maybe we look to do that, be training full-time. That could work for us, actually. So that is that. Now, we have played the first leg of our Champions League qualifying first-round tie. Let's go see how we did. We took an early lead, and it was all down to Callum Connolly on his European debut. And we got a second away goal before half-time when Sam York found Connolly, who doubled his tally. So there we go, a very, very comfortable away performance. Callum Connolly, it makes me wonder if we actually do need to sign, well, we've got him now, but if Duffer did need to come in, because he's doing the job for us on that right wing time and time again. He just keeps stepping up. And he could be anything at this point. I mean, he could even be our first Welsh international, to be honest. You can see we absolutely destroyed him. They did not register a shot on goal. Michael Stewart, who got the start up front, unfortunately for us, he had a really bad day in front of goal, or else this tie well and truly would have been dead. But that's where we stand. Hopefully the second leg will be a formality. We'll come back when there's more to report on that front, or maybe on a transfer front as well. We have breaking news this evening, historic breaking news out of Bala town. As news emerges, Dojo Simic has become the first £1 million player in the Welsh League. Now, for more on this story, we cross live to Charles Hogan. And Charles, this feels historic. Yeah, thanks, Nigel. Yeah, look, Dojo Simic has completed his move to Leeds United for the £1 million fee. The manager, Aussie Villain, is thought to be pleased to have got such a large fee for a player he thought had underwhelmed here in North Wales. Back to you. Everybody's leaving but bloody Chaz. Where's my transfer? Well, there we go. Dojo Simic has left the club. £1 million we received from Leeds United, plus a 50% sell-on fee. So whatever they sell him for, we get half of it. And to be honest, I'm not that disappointed to see him leave. It does leave us a little bit short for strikers, I'll be honest, at this point in time. But I wanted him to come in and score goals in Europe for us. And let's be honest, he never really did that. He scored goals relatively regularly in the league. Got 5 in 7 starts last season, but only got 11 for the whole season. In Europe, 11 starts, 4 off the bench, 3 goals. I wanted more than that from Dojo Simic. We need someone that's going to do more than that for us. And he wasn't doing it. So I'm as I said, I'm pretty happy. I think £1 million is a good fee. He's on $5,000 a week. He's cheering. Yeah, so we'll kind of see where we go from there. Now, you can see we are making bids. We're trying to get another player in. I'm just sort of throwing money around the left, right, and centre now, trying to find the right man for us. But we do have the second leg of the Champions League qualifier to catch you up on. Now, of course, we won 2-0 away from home. Could we hang on to that lead at home and get into the second qualifying round? We were in front in the opening minute thanks to Allmark and a keeping howler. Connolly picked out Ewan Dixon in the area to double our lead, before Connor Gosney and then Dixon's second added 2 more within a minute. Dixon then capitalised on more woeful defending for a first half hat-trick. Sam York got himself on the score sheet after half-time, before Michael Stewart rounded off the scoring with a 7th. So there we go, that was a goalkeeping performance, wasn't it? 7-0, 9-0 on aggregate. We're not going to miss Simic on those sorts of terms, are we? But we gave some debuts here. Mullenstein made a debut, as did Swift. Of course, a reminder, our 2 defenders there from Liverpool and Arsenal, respectively. We also gave Lowry a game. We gave a debut to youngster Marcus Baker, young right winger there. He came on for this one. And even Michael Stewart, despite disappointing in the first leg, managed to get himself a goal. So that was real. Oh, we also gave Murphy a debut as well, a starting debut. He came off the bench in the first leg. So yeah, I think it was really, really positive performance, that one. And it does mean we do have Ludogorets in the next round. They got through their tie. I think it was relatively comfortably. Let's just double check and make sure. Well, yeah, it was kind of tight, actually. They only just really snuck past, was it Georgian team they were playing? Yeah, so, you know, you go off of that, maybe we have a chance. Have we played? I don't think we played Ludogorets before, so that'll be the second leg. We still have about, not quite a week to play until that tie. Hopefully we'll get in a replacement for Simic before the squad registration, though, to be honest, the way we're scoring goals right now, I'm not sure it matters. Alright, more breaking news, and this is a blow. We have lost Stephen Branthwaite to Ipswich for his stupid release fee that I didn't even realise was in his contract. I kind of remember now I put it in there, because at the time, our players weren't worth anything. So he's gone off. We've got absolutely nothing for our first choice right back. And yeah, like I say, that is a blow. He was a real, he didn't play that much in the league for us last year, but he was really, really solid. Played a 6.95 in Europe. So that's going to be difficult for us to replace. And luckily we got a good fee for Simic, because otherwise we would have nothing to try and replace him with. Okay, we have more breaking news. A double signing to replace the striker and the right back that we've lost, hopefully. And look at this, just before the deadline to register the squad for the Champions League qualifying. So that's lucky. For once we've had one of these go away. First up, the right back replacement, Gavin Grant. We've loaned him in from Manchester United, £2,800 a week for B- signing from the fans. It might be just about fair. But have a look at what we've got here. He's a good young right back, but he's nothing more than that. He's quick. He's not very good in the air, but that's pretty much... Branthwaite wasn't great in the air in any case. He's not too bad in a tackle. He's got good determination, which I'm hoping will work. He can cross and dribble. Well, he can sort of cross and dribble. It's the best that we could hope for under the circumstances. I didn't want to buy anybody because there wasn't anybody that we particularly wanted. I'll show you the guy that I almost did. I did have an offer in for him. What do we want? This one here. If it's still going to be here. Is he available for loan now? That could happen. We want to go right back. And I'll show you the guy. It's Jordan Williams here. We could have got him for 100 grand. I had it down to 50 up front and then add-ons, but we would never have got to the add-ons because he wasn't going to stay that long. He was a good, solid right back. But he did want, I think we were paying him £3,700 a week, like £3,700 a week. We would have had to pay the extra money to get him in, and I'm just not sure he was that much better than the youngster, to be honest. He's better in the air, but he's not that much better dribbling and crossing for the extra money and the transfer fee. He was not that much better tackling. I'm hoping that the youngster will improve. Can we do a comparison? Actually, maybe I should have done this before. Gavin Grant. So we've got Grant in the blue, Jordan Williams in the green. So yeah, stronger in the air, a little bit better mentally. Defending is a little bit better, but physically and speed and yeah. So he is a little bit better all around. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I just think for the sake of what we have and the money that I don't necessarily want to spend on somebody to. Yeah, we can always go back. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I will go back and get him. I'm talking myself into it the more I sit here. Anyway, so that is Gavin Grant, the right back. And the striker we've got in is Owen Casey. I was trying to buy this guy permanently, to be honest. But we had a little bit of a disagreement on the wages. And I really wanted to try and get him in ahead of this deadline, which we've just about done. Fans say a C+ signing. And again, that may be fair. But I'll explain myself here in just a second. He is not that bad at finishing, which is, the ringing endorsement, isn't it, for the new player? But what I like about him is he's got good teamwork. So I'm hoping if we play him up front, he's a natural in the deep-lying forward role. So if we're playing in Europe and we have just one man up front, I'm hoping we can use him as a deep-lying forward. And what he'll do is he'll work with his teammates, bring other players into play, and sort of allow us to score goals there. So I'm not necessarily looking at him to be a goal scorer himself, but he's got good strength. I think he can hold a ball up. He's got a decent first touch compared to the players we can get anyway. And so I'm hoping it's a little bit different to what I've gone for with Simic in the pace. We do still have pace in Allmark and in Michael Stewart. I'm hoping, as I said, with good teamwork, this guy will be a little bit different and work for us in that way. So they're the two new boys. Let me know what you think in the comments. We're only a few days away now from the Ludogorets game. Anybody we get in now won't be registered for that one, but we're still looking. Alright, we are at game day for the Champions League second playoff round against Ludogorets. That means it's at the end of the summer transfer special, and it's been a lot more eventful than I was certainly expecting it to be. I didn't expect us to raise 1.7 million in transfers, that's for sure. We spent 75k back the other way, and we do still have one loan move to make if we so choose. But obviously there have been the headlines of Glenn Middleton leaving, aren't they? That was unexpected. But again, I'm relatively speaking okay with it, though I do wish I'd had a 50% sell-on clause if I'd known his value was going to go straight up to 1.6 million. And Sergio Simic, I wasn't expecting to leave. I wasn't expecting to leave for £1 million. I was always thinking maybe we could cash in on him, but yeah, that's a fantastic fee. Obviously, Henry Jones has left, which is sad. It's Bus and Brew, the last remaining legend at the club, that means, and really, was it ever going to be any other way? Jay Allen, a youngster, left as well. That kind of happened quietly through the window, and of course, Stephen Branthwaite. That is really disappointing. One season and out for him, unfortunately, as a Bala Town player. But the ends, I'm relatively happy with. Michael Swift, good solid player. He is potentially even better. We have Milan Mullenstein, who's, again, really positively could be a good left back for us. Ryan Murphy comes in. Happy with him. He's a good addition to the squad. David Thomas, a good addition as well as down that right wing. He can play sort of anywhere across the front three, to be honest. So not the striker, sort of the other three. Gavin Grant, of course, the two last loanees, a decent attacking right back for us. And of course, Owen Casey, who we will look to sign permanently if he works out. And like I say, it's a little bit different, and I'm hoping that'll work for us. So let's have a look at the squad that leaves us with then, ready for the season to begin. Now, obviously, transfer window is still opened, and we are still looking for a striker. We're not in any ways in trouble for strikers, because we know we still have Bus and Brew at the club who bangs them in at a Welsh League level. So these strikers are more than good enough to win the league for us. It's just in Europe we need to find a scorer. So the main guys will be Damien Allmark, still a star of the team. Michael Stewart, hopefully he'll get that 16 finishing firing for us this year. Guto Kingsley, hopefully he starts to live up to that potential a little bit more. He's potentially a 4.5 star player. We're not really seeing it yet from him, to be honest. Owen Casey, the guy we've got in on loan, hopefully that'll work out for us. Kian Peters, another good youngster at the club, and we have a couple of other options, Bus and Brew amongst them, and a couple of other youngsters as well. To play out wide on the right, I tell you what, Callum Connolly, I'm going to say at this point he's our starting right winger. And it's up to Duffy Thomas to take the shirt off him. He's been a revelation, and he'll started off the season well in Europe as well this year. Duffy Thomas, who we've just seen, is obviously an option down the right there for us. Gareth is still around. Maybe he's in legend status. I'm not sure if he's played enough, but he has. He's a legend, isn't he? Let's face it. So he's still here. I'm not afraid to use him either. He's been always good for us when he plays. And the other sort of the youngster snapping at his heels is Marcus Baker in the senior squad for this year as well. But if we can work on that crossing, we've got another really good youngster there, I think. The number 10 role, McVeigh can play there. I expect to use him a little bit deeper, but with no McLean for this season, he could step up into that number 10 role. The main guy, Ryan Murphy, I think will play a little bit deeper, but he could step up here. Ewan Dixon's the man, isn't he? Club captain, probably the star. Maybe Allmark will have something to say about that of our youth academy so far. But yeah, club captain as well. He will play there more often than not. Kieran Topley, who came in as just a utility player, can play anywhere on the field almost, so he's an option there. As is Professor McGonigal, only young. I don't think he'll play in the number 10 role, just because he can't really finish and he can't really pass the ball to anybody. He's got legally blind, I think. But I think his future is as a box-to-box midfielder, to be honest. Out on the left, Adam Maurice, big season for him. I've shown faith in him. I've got rid of Middleton. I haven't really replaced him because I think Maurice is our man. So let's hope he lives up to it. Sean Davies is going to get a chance to impress this year. Again, potentially a 4.5 star player for us with the game time. I'm hoping he will develop. He's already rapid across the ground, so we just need to get him a little bit more consistent. Ryan Murphy can play out here.
as can Duffield Thomas, as can Guto Kingsley, but I think those top two will be our main two there. A little bit deeper in midfield, we have good options here. I'm really happy with our midfield. Sam York, we know what he can do, an absolute star of the future. McVeigh, I expect to see him in this sort of deeper role more often. Dan Williams, still at the club. Not convinced he may leave before the end of the window, but he's solid enough in there for us. Curtis Owen, another potential star of the academy, 4.5-star potential player he is. A really good player he was for us last year as well. Alex Lowry, who we bought in January last year from Rangers, he's a really solid option for us in midfield. We've already seen Ryan Murphy. We've already seen Kieran Topley, and Professor McGonigal as well in the box-to-box role. I think that is where his future is at the club. We go back to the defence, and in the centre of our defence, Gretarsson is looking an absolute star. He's really, really coming on this pre-season. We know what Rhys Williams can do. He's solid enough. He will most likely just be a league player, bench player for us this year, though. KDH, hopefully he has a good season like he did his first season up in the club last season, first team I should say. 4.5 potential player he is still, and of course Topley again can fill in there, and of course the other stars of the defence, Connor Gosney, who I thought we might field some offers for this summer, but so far none have been incoming, and Michael Swift, new player of course we got in for this season, and Ryan Sears still at the club. Another reason why I didn't sign that other right back. Ryan Sears is essentially the same player and on a lot less money, so yeah, he can fill in at centre-back if we need to. Over on the right wing, or the right full-back I should say, Gavin Grant, who we just brought in, will most likely be the starter. Ryan Sears will battle in for that, or he'll be there certainly if he does drop off. And the other good guy over here is, of course, Jay Jenkins, the youngster we brought in. Potentially a 4-star player for us, and not the best getting forward, but he's always looked good when he plays, so maybe more game time for him, and Gretarsson and Gosney can fill in over there. Over on the left wing, Ryan Burke will, I think, start as first choice. Gretarsson can play over here, though probably won't. Mullenstein is the main backup, potentially a 5-star player, and a Dutch player as well. We don't have many foreign players at Bala, so it's good to see that. Swift and, of course, Sean Craven that can play over here. We also have, just to give you an idea of the other youngster that's been caught up into the senior squad, is Dion Pears. He is potentially quite good, so we'll see how he goes this season. Only 3-star potential now, so maybe... no, he was 4-star potential when we called him in, so maybe, maybe a little bit unsure exactly how good he's going to be yet. We have two main keepers, Rima Miles, who is an absolute... He was really good for us last year, so let's hope that continues. And Zach Jaycock is there as well, who has always been solid for us. So we have a couple of other youngsters that can fill in if needed. So let me know what you think in the comments of the transfer window. Like I say, I wouldn't say we're necessarily stronger, but I wouldn't say we're weaker either. We certainly have a better bank balance. If you have a look at the finances, coming into this, £7.5 million. We've actually made money, as I said, this transfer window. So we're up to almost £10.5 million transfer budget. We've actually lowered the wage bill as well, which is quite impressive. If we do just have a quick look at the wages, you can see we're at 51 at the end of last season. We're down to 31 this season. Now, there might be some staff wages in there where I've tried to cut back a little bit just because last season was a bit of an expensive one for us. But yeah, I'm relatively happy with how things are going. So that's it for the transfer special, guys. If you have enjoyed that, please do hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow as we get our Champions League qualifying campaign underway against sort of proper opposition. I'll see you then. Take care.